The first trailer for The Matrix Resurrections has finally released following its debut at CinemaCon, and we got stunning looks at Neo, Trinity, and a younger Morpheus in action. I'm going to be breaking it down, discussing the biggest questions, and discussing what it could mean for the science fiction sequel that is currently set to release this December. I will also leave a link to the trailer down below in the description if you haven't seen it already. But before I get into my breakdown, if you want to see much more videos on The Matrix 4 leading up to its release date, including video essays on the previous films, then don't forget to support this upload by giving it a like rating, subscribing to the channel, and turning on your notifications. Also, feel free to check me out on Twitter, Facebook, Reddit, and Instagram at Cortex Videos, which is all linked in the description below. But without further ado, let's dive into the newest trailer for The Matrix Resurrections. So when The Matrix Revolutions came out in 2003, few would have predicted that almost 20 years later, we are going back to where it all started. Back to The Matrix. And after years of rumours and hype, we are returning to a world of red pills, blue pills, sentinels, agents, and much more. The original trilogy of films by the Wachowskis put an end on the story of Keanu Reeves' Neo, Carrie-Anne Moss's Trinity, and Lawrence Fishburne's Morpheus. But The Matrix Resurrections is living up to its title by resurrecting the franchise. Lana Wachowski writes and directs the newest film, which brings back Reeves and Moss, along with newcomers Yahya Abdul-Mateen II, Neil Patrick Harris, Jessica Henwick, and Jonathan Groff. But this brand new trailer opens up with Neil Patrick Harris speaking to Keanu Reeves in a therapy session in a future version of San Francisco. We learn that Neo is trapped back in the fake world, much like he was before he entered the Matrix originally. But he feels that something is wrong and he's not quite in control with where he's at. He asks, "Am I crazy?" To which Harris responds, "We don't use that word in here." It's key to note that a lot of this trailer contains references to Alice in Wonderland, and it connects to many things that we see. When taking it back to the original Matrix, you take the blue pill, the story ends, you wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to believe. You take the red pill, you stay in Wonderland, and I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes. Lawrence Fishburne's Morpheus said this to Keanu Reeves' Neo in The Matrix as an entry to pulling back the digital curtain on a simulation that had captured humanity. Now they are the keys to understanding what we're seeing 22 years later in this new trailer. The whole red pill, blue pill analogy came from Lewis Carroll's 1865 children's tale, Alice's Adventures in Wonderland, in which the heroine experiences her own drastic perspective shift when she grows after eating a cake marked "Eat Me" and shrinks to nearly nothing by drinking a potion labelled "Drink Me." A copy of Carroll's 1871 sequel, Through the Looking Glass, literally appears in One Shot 2, but the movie gets even more literal than that when Neo and his new guide use an actual mirror as a magical gateway. We ask ourselves, why does Neo appear to be back in the normal realm of the Matrix after the events of 2003's The Matrix Revolutions, in which he seemingly gave up his life to free people from their digital prisons? Did humans choose to stay in the Matrix, thereby taking the blue pill, because the real world was a living hell? And why is Morpheus now in the younger form of Yahya Abdul-Mateen II? How is Trinity back? And why does she not remember Neo? We can't answer these questions based on this trailer, but there are hints to look at surrounding what may actually be going on. But back to the Alice hints now that we've laid some context and asked some questions. There is a black cat moving confidently across the therapist's desk as Neo watches. The Cheshire Cat was a key figure in Carol's tales, an observer who could appear and disappear, sometimes leaving only a levitating smile. In the book, the cat and Alice have a conversation in which Alice says, "I don't want to go among mad people," and the cat replies, "Oh, you can't help that, we're all mad here. I'm mad, you're mad." The therapist Neil Patrick Harris plays has an exchange with Neo that seems to reference that, with Neo asking whether he's crazy, but the response may of course be a literal reverse. Also, the bright blue on Neil Patrick Harris's glasses is the same as the blue of pills that keep you complacent in the Matrix, and it's also the same blue as the butterflies framed on the shelves in the background in both the cat shot and the shot of Harris. But there are loads of other things in this trailer, such as the White Rabbit song, the duck on Neo's head, the use of mirrors, and of course the actual Through the Looking Glass book that we mentioned before. It perfectly sets up the questions of this story in a Matrix way, and keeps us guessing rather than giving us answers. That's what a great first trailer should do, especially one that the Matrix should do. But as the trailer progresses, we come to a scene where Neo comes in contact with Carrie-Anne Moss's Trinity in a cafe, and she asks, "Have we met?" There is obviously something going on here where they are slowly realizing that they are trapped in the Matrix, a world where they don't belong. And may I mention that Trinity looks great in all the footage, especially the intriguing shots later on, which shows that there are actually different versions of the character. She helps Neo a lot throughout the scenes, driving him on a motorcycle during an escape, and reconnects with him in other sequences. It will be intriguing to see how they develop this bond and give us the answers to the question we identified before. But moving on and coming back to the situation of Neo, there's also a shot of blue pills spilling in a sink, and at one point there's a shot of Neo looking at himself as an old man in the mirror, and his reflection begins to distort. There's a part where Neo is looking into the sky, watching a flock of birds flying around as he tries to analyze it too. We then see him in an elevator with a group of people on their phones, and he is looking at the reflection of everyone looking at their screens. So maybe what this trailer is communicating is that escape is not actually Neo's goal anymore. Maybe he wants to go deeper, to escape reality and inhabit a world that is comfortable rather than terrifying. That would be a reversal of everything we'd expect. Like throwing the pills down the sink, the pill that lets you stay in this wonderland. Like the glasses on the therapist in reference to Alice in Wonderland, telling Neo that he's not crazy. And the idea of reflections continue to pop up in later scenes in the trailer when Neo starts meeting some familiar and unfamiliar faces. Neo meets a person with blue hair who has a tattoo of a rabbit, and they end up walking through a mirror. He ends up in the dojo, which is on a lake, with Abdul-Mateen's young Morpheus character, and he says, "The only thing that matters to you is still here. You'll never give up." Then they start to spar, and at one point Neo hits this Morpheus character super hard in the chest, sending him flying out of the room. The younger Morpheus also tells Neo that it's time to fly, and then hands him a red pill. When Neo encounters Morpheus originally, his dojo is centered in a still lake that creates a mirrored image, and for what it's worth, this iteration of Morpheus is dressed from head to toe in bright red. Jessica Henwick's blue-haired character is appropriately named Bugs, and in comparison to the reflection at the dojo, she takes Neo through a rooftop door, and the puddle of water around it does the same, mirroring their actions above as they pass through into what looks like a stately hotel room through the lens of another mirror. The reflections are an answer to what seems to be Neo's lowest point, but a path that again, Neo is committing himself to. However, putting this symbolism aside and looking at the rest of the trailer, we learn that this is a new, upgraded Neo. The footage shows us that he can not only stop bullets, but redirect full-blown missiles to stop them from hitting him. We see him also holding bullets in the air and being plugged into the Matrix during the midst of some wicked and explosive fight sequences like you'd expect to see from a Matrix movie, and many radical visuals that are difficult to take in. With Neo and Trinity escaping the Matrix and ending up back in the real world, we just don't know what exactly for yet. But the trailer comes to its conclusion following this insane action with another fantastic visual cue as a helicopter launches a missile at Neo and Trinity, and while that happens, Neo changes its direction mid-air and shoots it into another helicopter. This is the type of sequence that I can only imagine is going to look incredible in IMAX, and it really does take me back to that original Matrix movie. This transitions into a final shot that is a kind of welcoming back to Neo and the audience, as Neo is in an office with a man in a business suit who is played by Jonathan Groff, and he says, "You're going back to where it all started, back to the Matrix." So interestingly, most of the footage that was available earlier this week on the official Matrix website isn't in this trailer, which is really exciting considering we have got lots of new footage this week. And all the new clips we get in this first trailer signals to us that there has to be some kind of time loop, replay of reality narrative happening. Are we really seeing a young Morpheus, or is he someone that's related to Morpheus? The similarities are strikingly intentional, and if he is a younger version of that character, could this have all happened before the events of the original films? Is this a story of Neo and Trinity forever destined to save themselves and free Zion, and does Zion even exist in this world? And who is even controlling the Matrix? There are a crazy amount of questions that arise from this first trailer, and it shows a similar path to the original movie too, with Thomas Anderson stuck in his tech-obsessed reality, beginning to then free his mind, learning to fight, and eventually becoming very powerful with his abilities to manipulate the computer world that we know. We see people fighting agents, running up walls, and really just a big chunk of everything without getting too much answers, and I must say, I love that. Everything looks really great, and it could be a movie that reignites new ideas in science fiction storytelling in the way the original film did back in 1999, or it could end up like the sequels. It's a huge task to pull off, but if anyone can do it, it's the director and crew behind the first Matrix. It will be interesting to see, but so far, I'm loving everything we are seeing from this new film. Let me know down below in the comment section what you thought of the first trailer, alongside what else you would like to see for The Matrix 4 here on the channel in the next few months. For more videos surrounding The Matrix Resurrections leading up to its release this year, then subscribe to the channel and turn on your notifications. Also, if you enjoyed this video, remember to leave a like rating and follow me on social media via the links in the description. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed it. I've been Cortex, and as always, make some noise.